Welcome to the Girl Gang. I'm Katrina Gardner of Katrina and Create.
And I'm Dominique Goyette-Connerty of Evergreen Marketing. On this show, we're going to chat with women business owners in Massachusetts and those who support local women in business.
Because girls don't just want to have fun. They also want to sell real estate.
They want to open a brewery.
They want to teach others to invest in the stock market.
They want to take stunning photos, plan lavish parties, and help people recover from injuries.
Girls just want a podcast.
What can we say?
We're girls.
Welcome back to Girls Just Wanna, the
Girls
podcast.
Just Wanna.
Another week.
Girls just want to talk about cats today.
That's true. Oh, and I'm Dominique, Evergreen Marketing. So we do this every time. And this is Katrina and Create.
Katrina likes to dive right in.
Katrina's like, cats. I get it.
Cats.
I get it. Let's talk about cats.
Let's talk about my cat.
So what's going on
and
with
her
Pippin?
litter box usage. I need to tell the people.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so Pippin, she went to the vet this week. It cost $500 to find out that she is a bitch and has allergies.
RT, retweet,
Yeah.
my girl.
Yeah.
I love that.
So the last time this happened, so basically she isn't using the litter box and she is like scratching herself a lot. So we've got like blood splatter on the walls. It looks like a scene from Dexter. Because she just like scratches so much, and she's got like 5 extra thumbs total. Like, so she's got extra claws to scratch. Did I tell you that she is?
I think so.
Yeah.
She has. You mean she has thumbs?
Yes.
But so she has 5. She has like human hands, basically.
Well, on one paw she has 7 digits, and on the other paw she has 8 digits.
Oh wow!
And then her 2 back feet both have a thumb.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah. She's got 5 extra toes total.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Anyway.
Now that we've done the math.
So she's scratching, she's not using the litter box, and she did this a year ago, so we brought her into the vet a year ago. That time it cost more because we brought her the one time, and then they were like, we can't work on her, she's crazy, so you need to bring her back so that we can sedate her fully. And they did that, and there was nothing wrong with her. They were just like, she's stressed, which is like what every doctor says about every woman with problems. And I don't think it was stress, because now we're back a year later and they were like, oh, it's happening around the same time of year. Like maybe it's allergies, because the pollen, as everyone in the world knows,
it's been really
ridiculous
bad.
right now.
Yeah.
So now she's on prednisone, a steroid to help with her allergies. And today she did use the litter box.
Nice.
She peed in it this morning. So I'm thinking she's feeling better. But yeah, it's just been a total, disaster of.
So what's funny is I had messaged you and said, oh, how did it go with Pippin? Like, and you were like, yeah, so she basically has allergies, and that cost me $500. And I was like, okay. What's funny is the next day I woke up. This is so gross. I woke up and I'm tippity-tappity working at my computer for like an hour and a half. And then I don't even know what I was doing. I walked around my like coffee table to go get something, stepped in smushed diarrhea on the carpet. My cats
on the carpet,
smushy, and I did not see it, so I did a full foot in
Ew.
it. A full foot, and I go, and I pick up my foot, and I'm like, oh. So my cats never go outside of the litter box. I've had them for 2 years now, and they have done this maybe 3 times total. But this was a big smush diarrhea.
Okay.
And I have no idea why, and nothing's changed in their diet or anything. And I was gonna message you and say, so what? Pippin goes and then passes it on to my cats somehow?
Can I tell you, related and also gross, when we had to bring her to the vet a year ago, and we put Pippin in like a huge carrier because she's a monster, so we can't put her in like the little one because she would kill us. So we use this big like dog carrier. So when I'm carrying her in and out, I can't see because I have this like huge thing that I'm holding. And I walked like across the grass at the vet, and I was wearing like flip-flops, and it had rained the night before, so the grass is wet, so that's fine. I'm walking in wet grass, whatever. We get her in the car, we're driving home, and I'm like, did she shit in the carrier because it smells awful in here.
But it was your foot.
It was my foot.
What did you step in?
Dog poop.
Yeah, that makes sense. Outside of a vet, sure.
Oh my God. It was so gross. It was all over I had to hose myself down in the driveway.
Yeah. So don't love that Pippin like put that energy on Mowgli and Muffin this week.
She manifested just.
They've been fine since. It was just one, and I don't know which cat it was. So
That's rough. See, she's been going outside the litter box, but it's been easy to clean up. It's not messy.
In other cat news, I have decided that I want to walk my cats like dogs.
I love it.
So I'm trying it out. So I was at the beach last weekend, and I just kept seeing all the cutest dogs, and I was like, I miss my kitties. And I was just thinking, like, the cats are getting a little chunky. And I love them, and we're body positive on this podcast, but I was like, maybe they need some more exercise, and maybe I need some more exercise. Maybe I need to get out of the house and see the daylight more. So
have they been outdoor cats or indoor?
No, so they've never been outdoor. Like, they've never been outdoor cats. They were, strays born in someone's backyard. The people took them in, raised them, and at like 6, 7, 8 weeks, I went and picked them up in Pennsylvania. So ever since then, they've been indoor cats. Like, I don't let them go outside. I have abandonment issues. I'm afraid they're not going to come back to me. So I also just like don't want them.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah, and that's a story for therapy. Shout out Rebecca. I just don't want them, aside from like them running away and never coming back, I don't want them bringing me dead gifts.
Yep.
I don't want them getting fleas or
ticks,
worms or ticks, none of that. So no thank you. But I figure if I put them on a harness and walk them. So I bought 2 harnesses, I bought a leash, and for the first time last night I tried to do it, and I knew they wouldn't like wearing the harnesses. Muffin, I was able to get him into it, and he was very uncomfortable. He was miserable. I can see if we can put a picture up here.
Yeah.
He was just like this.
Yeah.
The whole time. And he like would get up and walk, and he'd be like stiff arms, like not wanting to do it, and then he'd just lay down like this.
Yeah.
Mowgli, on the other hand, is a little spitfire. So as soon as I like picked him up and tried to put one arm in, he was like and like darted under the chair. Like, he fights me.
Yeah.
So I was like, ugh. And I thought that when I opened the doors, they would at least want to like go outside, because a lot of times when I come into my apartment, they're like waiting right at the door.
Yeah.
And I get nervous that they're going to run away. So I thought if I just open the door and like see if they want to like walk out, then I can at least be like, these are the outdoors. This is what this looked like. And they wouldn't do it.
So I have a friend, Michaela, who I love, that she has a cat stroller.
So I have seen that, and my mom's like, oh my God, if I see a free stroller, I should get you one so you can walk the kitties. But that like defeats the purpose, because the reason I want them to walk,
you want them to have
is to like get the steps in. They got a little hanging belly right now.
Also, I think I told you about this, but there's like TikTok accounts where these cats are making big bucks.
Yeah,
they've got like the GoPro on like a collar, and they just like go around on live like 24/7, and like people just send them money.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that too. I'm like, how can I do that? Because I know that I can't get.
Let's make that a bonus episode of the pod. 45 minutes of my cats with a GoPro. That's it. You don't even have to hear us talk.
It wouldn't be exciting if we did it for Pippin, because she just sits there and sleeps.
Right. Yeah, so if I can get them to walk. So what I ended up doing was I put them both out on, I have a little deck. It's not big at all. It's probably like 6 by 6. So I went out on the deck with them, and I put them both out there, and they just like were like terrified. They were probably just paralyzed or just so curious. They literally were like this.
Yeah.
Like every bird, every noise, every ruffle of a leaf in the woods.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that if I can like take baby steps and acclimate them, that eventually they'll let me put the harness on and be like, okay, like if we're going, like this means we're going outside and you like to see the birds. So anyways, if anyone is listening and has cats who are outdoor cats or who like walk on a harness and a leash, give me your tips, because they, it's been 2 years, they haven't been outside. So I think they're like, what is this lady doing to us? So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And those are the cat updates.
Those are our cat updates. Do we have more updates before we greet our guest?
No, let's just go straight to the guest.
Yeah.
I think we're good. We did a lot of cat talk.
Yeah,
so
yeah. We'll
end it there. we'll save the other updates.
If you're not a cat person,
sorry, skip forward to the interview. Too late. You listened to it all. So we're about to bring in a dear friend of ours.
someone we both love.
We both love her. Yeah.
Yeah. We've mentioned her on the podcast before.
Do you know who it is? Well, you probably already do because you saw the title of this episode. So, without further ado, we'll cut here and bring in Bree DiBella. Yay! Welcome, Bree DiBella, to Girls Just Wanna, the podcast. Everybody, this is the famous Bree DiBella you've been hearing about on several episodes so far. We mention her all the time. If you're like, why does that name sound familiar? Because we talk about her in probably every episode.
Because we're obsessed with her.
Yeah, girl crush. So thank you for coming on the podcast. This is a little bit of a flattering moment. No. So Bree DiBella owns Studio DiBella, and she is responsible, you're welcome, for introducing me and Katrina. So if this is too much for you, blame her, basically. I knew Bree through my former employer. So they had hired Bree and her company and outsourced some of our marketing work and design work to her. Katrina knew Bree how?
Through YPWA, which we've mentioned before, is the Young Professional Women's Association. So Bree was on the board, and then I was on the board, but we knew of each other through that, and then through some of the events we met. I think the first one we met at in person might have been the self-defense class, unless there was one before that.
That was really fun.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. If YPWA people are listening, we need another self-defense class because that's a lot of fun.
I organized that one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was fun.
So that's how we each met Bree, and then Bree, as you already know the story, connected us. So
I'm glad we were all there. That was the fateful day.
I know.
Women's conference.
So Bree,
yes,
Studio DiBella is your baby.
It is.
Aside from your actual
baby.
baby.
Real new baby.
Well, not even baby. 18 months now.
It's a baby.
So fast.
So fast.
Happens so fast.
But yeah, it's actually my first month back working full time.
Yay!
Studio DiBella. I was on maternity for a long time, but then I just came back part time for the last year and a half.
That's the beauty of working for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was a huge motivator to starting the business, way back when.
Yeah.
When I was working for someone else full time, I actually had my 5-year plan, which included having a house and a home office, and then having a baby and having a company that could support me through that change.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So to have
I don't have a 5-day
and
plan.
lived it.
I have not even a 5-hour plan.
That was the end of the plan. So I was sitting with my husband we need a new plan.
Yeah.
What's the next plan?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you killed it.
So yeah.
I know.
So but back full time with the business.
So tell us about Studio DiBella for the people who don't already know.
Yes. So Studio DiBella is a creative service and marketing consulting agency. We originally started, had clients all over the place in Boston, a couple international and out of state. But since, it's been 5 years in business now, and I really dove deep into connecting with the local network in Worcester and Central Mass. So now I have this interesting niche of mostly working for membership-based nonprofit organizations.
Interesting.
Which is cool because I've really loved growing into that because you end up supporting hundreds of businesses by supporting the membership business or the membership nonprofit. So just to shout out a couple, I work with Discover Central Massachusetts, our regional tourism council, the Chamber of Commerce, and Taste of Shrewsbury Street is a new event client, and they're a membership group that's for Shrewsbury Street and Worcester. So just restaurants and store owners, and that's been fun to work on.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, it's almost like your impact grows exponentially because you work with an organization that works with all these other different businesses, so your reach is incredible, and I'm sure you get a lot of referral through that too.
Yes, it's been helpful for that. So that's how most of my business has grown. I've never done ads. I've just done through referrals and networking. So
that's incredible. And by the way, congrats on 5 years in business. That was a big deal. I remember seeing that post on LinkedIn and being like, oh my god.
And I'm so bad, I don't know about you guys, but I never celebrate my wins. So when I actually remember that an anniversary or something is coming, or if I acknowledge that a project ended and it was great, I'm always okay, I guess I have to write something.
Yeah.
This one time I remembered.
Oh. Yeah. So what are some of the services that you offer clients?
Graphic design
is a big one.
Mm-hmm. And marketing consultation, so like both from strategy and planning budgets, but implementing social media plans, and we do a lot of media partnership work with Discover Social Mass, so helping them figure out like what magazines do you want to be in, where do you want ads, you know, how can we reach people who might want to fly into the airport, like let's do terminal advertising down in Florida where our connecting flights are, like things like that. So we kind of do a huge range. We've produced television commercials, radio ads, digital campaigns.
Speaking
of television commercials.
I was in one of the ones
Oh,
that you did.
I was like, she's like, what do you mean?
That was actually through a partner agency. It was their project, so Element in Boston, who I met one of their producers through my husband, because they did a commercial for the business my husband worked for. He's also in communication. Shout out Nick DiBella.
Shout out Nick DiBella. We love you too. A girl's guy, if there ever was one.
Oh, I know. He's a huge support. He's my biggest fan and biggest referrer.
Oh,
love it.
So I met their producer through that, and then they needed location scouting and model scouting in Central Mass. So that's where I get tapped in. I was like, that's not really a service I offer, but I love it, Central Mass.
And Bree thought of me. No, I'm just kidding.
Immediately was like, model. Katrina Gardner.
Well, I thought it was so funny because your son ended up being the star of that part of the shoot.
Yes.
I think you were the shopper.
Yes. He wasn't even my son anymore. Which
I love.
At first, I was going to be holding him. But then what happened was, so it's this scene where
you're in a great store.
You know, we're in a great store, and it's just supposed to be people like passing like a kind word or like sweet message. So it was me and my son, and he was the reason why we got the
cutie.
Yeah, have you guys seen him? He's adorable.
I mean, he's really cute. But the way that they'd set it up, they had this like male actor that was gonna come and be like, "Oh hi," or like, "I like that thing," but it came off creepy when it's a single mom and a baby, and this man is like, "Hi." So it just was reading wrong. So they gave the baby to the guy, and then I was the stranger being like, "What a cute baby." Like, you know, loving on this man with his baby that looks just like me.
Which is probably easier for your son.
Yeah.
Because then a stranger wasn't like, "Hello."
Right. So, and he was young enough that like he didn't have the stranger danger. Like he was just totally cool with it. Oh, he was so cute that day.
So funny. And I wasn't even there for that. I think I had to go to a meeting like right when that was happening. So I was so confused, and I was like, "What do you mean you switched hers? Whose son it was? Like, what are you talking about?"
It worked out.
Okay.
It was great.
Good.
I loved it. That was so much fun.
So funny.
I loved bringing in. I brought in a lot of YPWA women into that shoot.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed doing that.
It was Veronica and Carl were on a date.
Yep.
That was cute.
Aww.
Yep. And then there were a couple others at different parts. Not everyone got used. Like we filmed a lot more than we needed to.
Yeah. Right.
But that's just how it goes.
That's just the way it works. Yeah. So a lot of graphic design.
Yes.
Marketing consultations, social media,
email.
Do you do this all yourself? Do you have people that you outsource to or that work for you?
Yeah, so I have always been, I was originally like the only one. And
right.
then as you know, like your business
That's like
grows
how it happens,
and you need help. And so I have a great network of women, mostly women I've worked with. So yeah, I've hired men too, but I mostly had a team of women.
I've hired men
That's a vibe.
too.
Yeah, I mean, So Abby Sullivan and Camilla Pombo have been like my core team who I work with as contractors, and you know, being part-time and like going on maternity leave, like I left the business, we slimmed down clients, and I left the business in their hands for like a little over 4 months.
Yeah.
So like that's some trust.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I couldn't imagine doing it with anyone else. I will like forever be grateful to them. And then I came back and like we all got back into the swing of things. And then I wanted to come back full time, but like as like childcare is a thing.
Yeah.
So recently I've had to change up the way I'm doing things because daycare is so expensive.
Yes.
And I had not as many clients as I was accustomed to. So you know, we were talking earlier about like your friend relationships and your work relationships.
Yeah.
And so this is like a perfect example is like I had to tell these two women who have been my friends. Camilla's been my friend since college. I've known Abby since before the studio. And I had to tell them, like, look, I need to change the way everything's going. I can't work with you anymore in the short term. I need to build my client base back up.
Yep.
And because of this childcare thing. And
Yeah.
like that's where like friendships matter, and like
Yeah.
working with women that like get it and understand and love
Yeah.
you no matter what. So they were totally understanding. We took like, I think I only took like a week and a half off of working with Camilla before I was like, you're hired. Like, let's go back to the way it was. Because I like ended up getting a couple clients the first
Yeah.
week
Wow.
back.
Yeah.
And like, I'm, you know, fingers crossed I have a bunch of leads in, and I can just, everything can go back to the way it was. But I just love working with both of them so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't do it without them. Like I really,
Yeah.
you know, it's more fun to have a team.
I've
Yeah.
often talked about like, you know, the tribe. Like
Yeah.
everyone says, when you're a mom, you need to find your tribe, and like everyone. Right now, the way that the world is, it's like there's no tribe, like there's no help. But for me, like my tribe was definitely like the people that I worked with, like just being super supportive. You weren't there yet, but
Yeah, so I was actually a jerk.
no, you just weren't. I didn't know you yet when I was on maternity leave. But even now, still, like when I have like Jamie is sick for the bajillionth time because he's in school, and it's like everyone that I work with is like understanding and supportive and like able to pick up the slack, and like that's really important, in addition to my family being nearby and my brother who's 21 who loves to babysit.
That's awesome. I don't have family. Well, we have my sister-in-law. I shouldn't say that. Shout out Rach. She's in Framingham, so it's a little bit farther, but like we don't have grandparents around, which is like, I feel like that's, everyone leans on the grandparents.
Yeah.
They come to visit often, so that's great, but it
Yeah,
can be important to
my
have
mother-in-law retired like a few months before he was born, and I'm like, congratulations. Let's chat.
You've been promoted.
That TikTok sound that's like, you've been promoted. You're now one of my elite employees.
You have the benefit of being in my comfortable house.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So your 5-year plan included the house and the business and the baby, and so you've done all
You
that.
got
You
it.
mentioned
Check.
You mentioned
all
you were
the
talking
above.
to Nick, like, so what's next?
Oh, I know.
So
You're
any
asking me
ideas?
now. I don't have
Is there
ideas.
anything
Well,
exciting coming for like Studio DiBella?
Yeah.
Big changes coming down the pipeline? Anything like
I wouldn't say
that?
big changes, but the big news is that we're taking clients. Like I haven't taken clients in
Plug.
2 years. We basically I stopped taking clients way before I went on maternity, just because I knew it was going to be coming.
Yeah.
So you have the 9 months plan. So yeah, it's been about 2 years since I've taken new business. I have a bunch of leads in the pipeline already, which is great. Thank you to anyone and everyone who's referring me to work right now since they've heard. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm hoping to just like fill up the client roster again, which is, we're on track. You know, beyond that, I don't have a ton of big plans because my brain can't think that far ahead. As you know, like toddler
You
life,
have a
they're just
toddler,
like,
so
yeah, I can think about like what she's eating for lunch tomorrow, and
that's about it.
what we're
That's
doing
the
this week.
extent of it.
There's the whole like mental load thing that really
Yeah.
comes into play once you are a
I have
mom.
found though that now she's in daycare, like the mental load of my day is so free. Like it's like back to work. It almost feels like another universe the way things were.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
I know. I used to work from home with Jamie, and then he started preschool this past February, and it's been great. And now next week is the last week, and I'm like, how did I work with a toddler in the house? Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it again.
I don't know how you did it either. I don't find it possible.
Yeah. I mean, luckily I can do a lot of my job from my phone when I need to, so that helps.
My daughter likes to say, no phone, and swat it out of the way. Or she wants to see...
As she should,
Like,
queen.
we have videos from the neighborhood of bunnies that hop around our yard or our neighbor's yard. So it's either no phone or Baba phone.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, she has many requests these
Love
days.
it. Love it.
So what types of clients are you taking on? Like, is there a certain type of work you're looking for from the clients that you're opening up to?
Good question. I do some websites. So I work on Squarespace websites, simple ones, nothing overly complicated. Although I have done and helped bigger clients that have bigger sites work with supporting agencies, and really like if the client, say an executive director or an owner, like doesn't even know the creative language to like talk to their big agency that they're working with, like I've been kind of that mediation, like I'll represent your interests in this partnership and really help smooth things over and take a load off their plate.
Yeah.
So I've done that before. I do love the social media work. Camilla helps support that for my team, and so yeah, we're taking social media strategy and implementation work. And graphic design. Graphic design's like my big one. That's my background. I went to school in New York City at the School of Visual Arts for graphic design, which So that's like the stuff that I love the most. And I do, my like love is print design. It's just like I'm kind of old school in that way, but I started out as a book designer after college. And so I love layout and brochures and reports and so like fun design and also boring design, as I like to call it.
I remember when I was working with you at my last job, I was on the phone with you because we were doing a print publication and you were designing it. And I was on the phone with you like, oh, and I want to change, like at deadline, right? Like, I'm like, oh, and I want to change this and that. And like, oh, did you see this? And she's literally just like, and I said to her, I go, you are amazing. Like what you're doing right now. This is incredible. You're going so fast. She goes, and I quote, yeah, graphic design is my jam.
That's a little embarrassing, but it's true. And also, I'm like really used to people working over my shoulder or like, you know, having a boss behind you and just like, can you do this? Now, can we do that? And so it's just like not a big deal. Like, some people hate that, but I really don't care.
Oh, I hate that.
You do. I don't know. I wouldn't do it for everyone, but like if you know what you want, that's I don't mind.
Right. Yeah. It's almost more difficult if they don't know what they want because you're like, I can't really guess for you.
And that happens with graphic design all the time. When they're like, oh, we don't like it, but that's all they know.
Yeah. I like, what don't you like about it? You know.
Yeah. I try to weed those clients out early. I honestly, like, I have built a lot of great relationships with my clients, and so a lot of them kind of trust me implicitly with their work, and that's kind of my favorite.
Oh yeah.
So like to talk about Taste of Shrewsbury, we also do brand work, so identity design and event brands, for example. So like they had an old brand that they were working with, and it hasn't changed in like 20 years, I don't think. So they wanted to liven it up for like this year's event. So we did a brand new logo. We did kind of like a suite of styles and colors and illustrations and stuff like that. So that was kind of just like whatever you think. We did like a couple rounds of just like presenting what I wanted to do, and everything was kind of like, great, looks good. Honestly, it's so fun for me. That's just to be a little selfish, like that's my favorite, and I'm having the most fun working on that right now.
That's awesome.
I've seen it every time I've seen you in the past few months. You're like, oh my god, and I have this, and we met for coffee a few months ago, and she's telling me about it, and she goes, can I just show you the new website? I just finished it, and I'm just so excited. And I was like, yes, please.
I'm a huge dork when it comes to work. Like I
love it because it like really shines through. Like it's not just a job to you. Like you just love doing this type of stuff.
My husband has to be like, can we stop talking about work at night? Like I'm just like, okay, fine.
And that's also, I think, really unique too, is that oftentimes when you like make it your full-time job and turn it into a business, the passion leaves because, you know,
I've had those moments. I mean, certainly had the moments, and that's helped me every time that happens. I've been like, okay, that's not the kind of project I want, or that's not the kind of client that makes sense for me, because it's sucking the life out of me, and I need to just not be in this situation anymore.
You and I have talked too about how when you're starting a business, it's like a rite of passage that you have to take on the wrong clients. To learn
like the wrong jobs. Like
to learn that they're the wrong clients. Like you don't know, and no matter how much people warn you, like don't say yes to everything when you're starting out. Like you're gonna burn out.
It's the LinkedIn posts that are like 5 things I would tell myself.
And I'm like, that's great, but also if I don't learn that lesson myself, if I don't go out there and like take that client and say yes, and then find out like, oh, you're not my bread and butter. Like this is sucking the life out of me. Then you don't have that experience like to go off of to then niche down and find what you do want to do. So I remember you just saying like, as much as you try to avoid it, it's like a rite of passage.
It is. I think it is. Just like any job. Like when I was in college, I did I think 6 or 7 internships for places that each one of them I was like, this is the place I want to work. Like I did an internship at 17 Magazine, and I was like, this is a dream. Like going into the huge publishing building, like feeling like I was like Devil Wears Prada, like going into the editorial closet, like was sneaking in. Let's be honest. I wasn't really supposed to be there. I was on the advertising team, so like I was doing ad designs, not editorial work. So like first of all though, before I got that internship, I interviewed at a different magazine, and I forget what it was. It might have been Vogue or something, but they had an internship where her only job was to design the table of contents and the page that lists like everyone who works there. So I was interviewing with this woman, and she was like, that's the job. And I was like, but you realize like I'm a trained graphic designer.
You're like, I'm very capable of a lot more.
That's all, like, how that would not even fill a day.
Right.
I was so confused.
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, that's my job right now, and I'm going to be moving on to something else. Like, I was like, this is not for me. So and then I was like, okay, 17 Magazine, that's for me. This sounds great. Like, this office is cool. Like, there's a merch closet. Like, that's awesome. And then I honestly, the whole interview, it's like, when you're young, you just don't know. I didn't even know that it wasn't for editorial design. Yeah. I just, my first day, they were like, so this is the advertising team. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, you're designing house ads, and like, when people pay us to design their ads, like, you're designing those ads. Yeah. And then I designed like an email newsletter banner for Vampire Diary. It was like some, like, what was that vampire show that was super popular? And I was like, they were doing a thing with Macy's, and I was just designing the email invite that went to probably only like 100 people. And I was like, but this isn't working in a magazine. Like, it was like, to me, I was like so disappointed, but it was like actually a really good experience. Yeah. Because I got cool work from it with cool brands. Yeah. Designed an ad for Tide, like, super randomly. Yeah. Yeah. And then at the end of it, I was like, this is great, but I would never want to work for a magazine again. Yeah. Because this is not my vibe.
It's so funny when people think of like graphic designers, and like, when you think of it in your head, you picture like the really cool projects, but it's like so much of graphic design jobs are like just the typography of like the catalog and like, you know.
Oh yeah, you did catalog. Oh my God, so true.
Yeah, I was like knee deep in barcodes, like putting them on pages. Like, it's not sexy. No, but
sometimes it can be. Yeah. Like, honestly, like, I'm gonna go back. Taste of Shoes Richie. It's sexy. I love it. That's fun work. Yeah. So there's still some fun projects. Yeah. By the way, and I have to say it because I know this is coming out in June, this episode. So Taste of Shoes Ray Street, you should come on June 18th. It's going to be so fun. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Tons of food. I know, you'll both come.
Yeah. I have to get a sitter.
I was going to say, we could do a girls' date.
I'm getting a sitter.
A girls just want to date.
Love
Girls
that.
just want to...
Girls just want to
platonically date each other.
I have a huge fun idea right now, is that I'm going to give you 2 wristbands for your girls' date. And then maybe we just do a couple of wristband giveaways for this episode.
Yeah! This is news to us. Surprise!
Love a surprise.
Oh my God, that was a surprise. We didn't know.
We're here for it.
I meant to mention it, but that's actually more fun that I
It's more fun that you didn't, because
oh my
we're
gosh.
shooketh. Okay, so exciting. We'll manage that afterwards. Yeah. Yes. While we still have you, is there anything else you want to say about your business, or any of the services or
people
clients?
Can reach out. I'm honestly, like, if it's the work's not for me, if you like don't know what you want, then like I'm happy to just like chat and then refer you to someone if that's not for me. Like,
that's something we've like heard a lot of in the past only few episodes we've done, is like, even if you're not sure if Bree's the right fit for you, or if Bree can do what you want her to do or whatever, like, still reach out, and she has like a network of amazing people who she could be like, no, I can't do it, but this person is great. Right. And like, we heard that from Emily last week, and from Stephanie like weeks ago. Yeah. So yeah, it's just like, I love that part of like the people we've been interviewing, is that even if I'm not the fit for you, and even if I'm not going to make money from you, like, I'm happy to point you in the right direction.
And like, I know Stephanie mentioned that she referred Ashling from Infinity Events. I also love Ashling. She refers a lot of business to me, and I work with her on Taste of Shoes Ray Street. So like, it's a perfect example.
Have to have
like,
her on the pod.
I was just saying, we gotta get her.
Now she's the one that everyone's like, who's Ashling? We have to.
She's finally here.
That's how we'll introduce her to the pod.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I love working with women because I feel like they're such good referrers all the time. And like, you build friendships. It's like working with people.
Yeah. Besides Ashling, is there any other women-owned business that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
I know. Putting you on the spot here.
I know, that is on the spot. Well, I will say, Katrina Creates is such a great design business also. Evergreen Marketing, I don't know if you've heard about that.
Cheater.
I know, I really am. Okay,
Kiss ass, no.
I should shout out the O Shop, because so I don't know if you guys have talked to them yet.
We haven't talked to Stephanie on the pod, but I know of it.
Yeah, and I knew of the O Shop just because of Stephanie and my work in tourism. And then after I had my baby, like, I hadn't gone there before, and as you know, like you
it's
need
so
new
funny.
bras.
That's when I went to the O shop
Really?
after I had my baby, and they were like, "What size are you?" And I'm like, "I
No
don't
idea.
know."
Yeah, no idea. So I got fitted, and honestly, like it was one of my best shopping experiences in a while because it makes a big difference. If you happen to, it makes a huge difference. Yeah. It's like a life changer. I feel like a real woman again.
I could be so wrong in pulling this just out of my ass, honestly, but I heard at one point like 90% of women are wearing the wrong bra size. Yeah, like something like like a crazy number like that.
I'm sure I was one of those women.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sure I am too. I have no idea.
Yeah, so I'm like obsessed with the ones that I bought.
Okay, I'll have to go.
It's like the only place I'll go now because they fit you and they like have an expert who works there. I wish I could remember her name. She was amazing.
Yeah, and when I went, I was like, I don't want wire because I was still like had a little baby. You know, I'm like, I want it to be comfortable, but I want it to be supportive. And they were like, I didn't even like look. I'm like, just give me what I want.
They brought me up, closed his eyes.
It was like, and I was the only one in the store. It felt like a custom shopping experience.
Yeah.
It was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love it.
And they've got their online shop too, but their little place in Worcester is so cute.
Yeah.
It's great.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. I know this was totally last minute too. And
I know.
You made time for it, even though you have a toddler and a business. And we were so excited when you were like, yes. So
no, I'm excited. Glad to be on.
Thank you so much. And we will drop all the details to get in contact with you in the notes.
And we'll see you at Taste of Shrewsbury Street.
And we'll see you at Taste of Shrewsbury Street. All right. Thank you so much, Bree DiBella.
Thank you.
We've arrived.
We're back.
Favorite segment.
Heart it or hate it.
Heart it or hate it. If you're new here, it's basically love it or hate it, but we say heart it because double tap. We're social media girlies.
And it's rapid fire.
It's rapid fire. Okay, so we each have come prepared with two different things, and we rapid fire through whether we love it or hate it.
Yep.
You want to start? You want me to start?
I can start.
Okay, go.
QR codes.
Hate it.
Really?
Hate it. Yeah.
With a passion?
I think that they are misused. I mean, like, I understand what their purpose is, but they've been misused the past few years. And ever since the pandemic, you know, they got popular for what seemed like the right reason. Yeah. And then now people are just using them everywhere and anywhere and for all the wrong reasons. And
I do think it's interesting because I remember when QR codes, like, first were, like, invented and everyone's like, what is this? Like, trash, go away. And then the pandemic happened.
And there was a purpose for them suddenly.
Yes. So now they're like a thing. And the reason why I thought of this was because last night I was re-signing up for Hulu.
Okay.
And it was doing that thing where it has the QR code where it's like instead of typing into your TV, like your username and password, you know, scan the QR code, go to the website on your phone, you can sign in that way. And I was like, oh, that is really handy. So like I thought that was a good use for QR codes. I don't know how necessary it is in like the LinkedIn finding each other type of, like I've used that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You can like, we all have our own QR codes in LinkedIn and you can like buddy scan to find each other.
So like basically like Venmo.
Yes.
Like it's helpful for Venmo and stuff instead of having to type in someone's username. But I'll tell you why I hate QR codes is people put them on everything now. Every flyer, every business card, everything.
And they put it on like social media.
I hate
they
that.
never even plan on printing
That's one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Why are you posting an Instagram post with a QR code?
Yeah.
I'm obviously scrolling on Instagram on my phone. I can't scan that. It's obnoxious. Yeah. That is a big pet peeve of mine.
And I do think restaurants can cool it at this point.
Yeah. Just give me a menu.
Right, because it was great. And
it was great when there was a necessity for it. Yes. And now it's just like, I don't want to have to use my phone to look at your menu.
Sometimes I'm out with family and we want to be like, all right, phone-free dinner.
Right.
Wait, just kidding. We have to pull out our phone to look at the menu, and then it's just bad. So anyway.
What are you going to say?
I haven't said if I heard it or hate it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You've kind of convinced me that I hate it.
Ha ha ha.
So yeah.
Hate it?
We hate it.
All right, great. We're in agreement. So my next one for you, for both of us, skinny jeans.
What's your answer? You youngin' over here.
Youngin'? We're 7 years apart.
I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it too.
Okay,
so that's an interesting generational gap. Is apparently like the cool kids don't like skinny jeans anymore. Yeah. I'm literally wearing them right now. You can't see them under the table. Here, I'll lift my leg up for you. That one was for the girls only, so.
That's going on the OnlyFans. We gotta make money for the podcast somehow.
We're gonna start selling feet pics to support the podcast. Yeah, I love skinny jeans.
Yes.
They are getting unnecessary hate, and I will not stand for it.
Okay, well, as a short girly, I remember the time when I was in like grade school wearing my bell-bottom jeans, and if it was raining, they'd get water like all the way up to your knees.
They get soaked.
And then because I never got anything hemmed.
I know.
So
and then I'm pretty short too. Like you're shorter than I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you can buy short jeans, but the short jeans are still too long.
Right. So skinny jeans, it doesn't matter what length you get.
Yeah.
If you're short, you can just roll it up and it looks cute.
Yeah.
You can't do that with the.
I do roll up some pairs of my skinny jeans. There's just a little cuff at the bottom, and it looks adorable.
I do. I think. No, I'm not cuffed right now.
I'm not cuffed right now. I have little fringe ends on these, and they fit pretty well.
Cute.
So that's skinny jeans. What do you got next?
We heart it.
Oh, yeah, so I heart it. You heart it. We heart it.
Yeah, my next one, again, because I got Hulu and I was doing all sorts of like TV stuff. My next one is heart it or hate it, cable TV.
I'm going to say hate it.
Same.
I still have it.
Do you?
I do. I have the very, very basic, like whatever it is, 50 channels or something, and I never use
I'm
it.
actually really surprised that you have it.
So here's the thing, and that's why I hesitated to say hate it, is my first job out of college was working for a cable company, the largest, I think, telecommunications company in the country. And so, no offense to them, but the thing is I pay for it and I don't even watch it now.
Yeah.
The only reason I would have cable is for like live sports.
Yeah.
Because I love baseball and I'll sometimes watch football.
Yeah.
But
part of me getting my Hulu last night was we now get ESPN Plus. So,
oh, okay.
So I don't know what that means because I honestly couldn't care less. Mm-hmm. But my husband was excited. So
yeah. So that's the other thing is a lot of the streaming channels are starting to do live sports.
Right.
So I know Hulu's one of them. I think YouTube TV has like certain games.
Well, and that's the thing. I have thought about getting YouTube TV.
Yeah.
Because I do kind of miss like scrolling through the channels. Like
I just hate that instead of cable, it's now like 17 different streaming platforms. And I'm like, okay, well, it's more money to buy, to have subscriptions to all these different platforms.
And they're getting so stingy with borrowing from your parents.
Yeah.
As a 32-year-old woman,
I need to save those $10 a month. It really makes a difference.
It does.
Listen, we're balling on a budget over here. I hear ya. Yeah, so I'm going to say hate it. And that also reminds me that I need to call and cancel the rest of my cable because I literally have not used it.
Yeah.
And I don't even pay for the sports channels anymore, which was like the one tier up from basic.
Yep.
And so like if I'm not watching sports, then I'm like honestly not using cable. So
time to cancel.
Yeah, time to save my money. Okay, last one. Heart it or hate it? The thumbs up emoji or reaction.
I heard it because I do it.
Hate it. Hate it.
I don't like, all right, so if it's like texting, I don't like giving a heart when I like something.
Oh, so on iMessage.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That seems too aggressive.
Okay.
And then
I'll think about that next time I heart your message. I'll be like, oh, is this too aggressive for you? Is my undying love too aggressive?
I don't want to come off too strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do thumbs ups all the time. Thumbs ups.
And so I'm not about that life. I will do a check mark. And if you're listening to this, like, she's a liar. She thumbs up one of my text messages. It's probably because I was worried that you were going to
be judgmental.
Yeah, you weren't going to love the heart. You were going to think it was too much.
Yeah.
So I will use a thumbs up every once in a while, but like we use Skype at work and I will not thumbs up messages unless I'm being passive aggressive intentionally.
Yeah.
I'll use a check mark or sometimes I put the ice cream emoji because to me that's like sweet or cool.
Yeah.
I don't like doing thumbs up. It's like it seems passive aggressive even when I'm not meaning it to be passive aggressive.
Right.
It's fitting when I'm meaning to be passive aggressive. That's fine.
Yes. I feel like if I'm being passive aggressive, I will send you the thumbs up emoji instead of
a reaction. Yeah, instead of reacting to the message, just sending I had a boss who used to text me, which, first of all, no. First of all, stop texting me. But my boss used to text me and would use that all. In fairness, which isn't in fairness, he was a middle-aged white man, so what else is he going to do besides send the thumbs up emoji? Yeah. But I was like, can you not?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to hate it on that one.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people find it to be, what's the word?
Annoying?
Yeah. But you just
think it's quick and easy?
Yeah. Oh, and there have been people that I will like specifically send the hearts for if I know that they're like a hearter, because I don't know if I've specifically sent you the hearts.
I don't know.
I might just actually genuinely love the things that you say.
You do?
Yeah.
Or you'll do a haha or an exclamation point a lot. I like those ones.
Yeah. But there's someone that I used to work with, and she would like heart every single message that I sent.
Oh God. So that's okay. We'll wrap up real soon because this was supposed to be rapid fire, of course. But that is very similar to when people high priority on every single email. So at our current job, no one ever does it. At my last job, every email someone sent, this one person in particular I'm thinking of, would put a high priority message on it. And I'm like,
is anything ever high priority if it's an email?
Sure. I mean, I think it can be like a higher priority, but it's not like everything this person sent was high priority. I'm like, you're sending me, an email about an event that's in 2 months. It's not high priority for me to know about it right now.
It's the employee who called high priority. It's the boy who called wolf. It's like,
yeah. Like, now none of your emails are any sort of priority to me. I just skip right past them. It's overused.
Yeah. I mean, email in general, if you are trying to reach me about something high priority, you better send me a text or something, because I don't.
If you're trying to reach me about something high priority, don't. That's basically it. If it's work related, don't.
Well, there's like a meme that it's like, if this is high priority, just like take a second to reflect.
When people do the email sign-offs that are like, if this is an emergency, please reevaluate your life and call 911 because this is not an emergency.
Exactly. That's the vibe.
Alright. Well,
that's it.
There's that. So
we'll post these on our story.
Yeah.
So
go take the
your
polls.
input.
And we will be back next week with yet another guest.
Yeah.
All right. Later, ladies.